What is going on, everyone? My name's Boit, and I'm back with some more Age of Mythology. The Titans action spawning in the bottom of the map in the blue color, playing as Odin. His name is the Rapl. His opponent today in the red color, playing as Set. His name is Mrboat. This is the Voobly Champions League season number 2. And we're about to experience some of the most exciting things in the entire world. And I know you guys are a little bit on the surprised. I'm wearing a hat. Look, I put a hat on for this stream, for this cast. It's okay. It's still me. I promise. Wait, it's not the hat? Oh. Let's just ignore that. I could be Boit's evil twin. You're just gonna have to kind of cope with it for today, and maybe tomorrow, and maybe, who knows? Maybe the beardless Boit gets trending on the Twitter hashtag beardless Boit, and we'll make it a thing, you know. But we've got a game today. We've got Mrboat, we've got Rapl, we've got Frozen Waste. This is one gold mine. Frozen Waste chat are saying, what have you done with Boit? I don't like this new Boit. I'm saying it can't be helped anymore. And we've got games to watch, and we'll get through it together. We'll hold each other's hands. We'll get through it together. Odin for Rapl on Frozen Waste. One gold mine, Frozen Waste. Has all of this hunt to eat at the start. He's also found his walrus here. Now, one thing that they've changed in 5.0 for Set is that you can get early aggression with the shifting sands, Pharaoh, Wadjet, etc. shenanigans, because you can get hands of the Pharaoh from the temple. Now, we'll see what happens in this game. I have on the contention that this strategy is just not the way you want to play Set, even though they've given it a sort of access. It's just everyone plays around it too well recently, or even not recently, since ages ago. And
subscribe to #beardlessboit.
Thanks, King Agvia. Appreciate it. Oh, okay. So this strategy that Set players used to do, obviously can do it again now, but it's kind of fallen out of favor for so long that we're not really sure, are players playing around it now still, or are players just kind of thinking it's not as good as it used to be. It's very, very cheesy. If you get 2 villager kills, it's really good. If you get no villager kills, it's really bad. If you get 1 villager kill, is it even worth it? Who really knows? Not me. I don't. So we'll see what Mrboat's going to be doing. We check this resources out. We see Mrboat is clicking up to the next age. He's going through Ptar. It's a 4:15 advance time. He's got 6 villagers on gold. We see he's got the resources to get his Hands of the Pharaoh upgrade, but he's not investing into it. So it's looking to me... Oh, no, he's got double priests. So it is... There's the Hands of the Pharaoh. This technology takes 20 seconds to upgrade. So it should be up with plenty of time to spare. We see the houses going up using this Pharaoh to help out. He's going to be able to actually... Oh, this is going to be a really, really brutal shifting sands onto this location here. We'll see if Rappl's going to preemptively move these back in or not. He's got units over here that could get hit. There is a sentry tower close by. But I imagine that this damage that's going to get done is going to be pretty brutal, as Mrboat's going to come in here and hit it. There is a Herso here. Freya's on the way. We're about to see the... Well, we should see the vision coming down just a little bit early here, but not happening just yet. Will we see Rapl bringing these back in? There's lots of goat here. Rapl is not reacting to this at all. The shifting sands will come through straight onto these units. He's going to be going after the villagers. The path blocking from those animals, so key. Picks off 1 villager, picks off 2 villagers. Is he going to get the 3rd villager? He gets 3 villagers with this shifting sands attack. Mr. Boat has to be incredibly happy with that one there. Rapl drops down to 12 villagers to Mr. Boat's 18 currently. So Mr. Boat way in the lead. He has to work out what the next step here is, though. What I'd love to see from him is just to follow this up with some barracks and some aggression. But who knows what's going to happen. We see the Valkyrie coming through. Probably need to actually retreat the Pharaoh and the priest back to his home base. Oftentimes we see these units running around the opponent's base looking for the extra kills, but it's really not that worth it. We see the units coming back on. You see there's 3 gatherers left to return onto these caribou here. So we'll see if Rapl can make any sort of damage done to his opponent or not. We've got the Osberg wagon in the middle, not getting picked up by Mr. Boat for some reason. The town center coming up now for Mr. Boat. Only 5 villagers here. We see Rapl moving in. He's got the Raven on top, but there's a Wadget, 2 priests, 3 priests. I don't think that he's going to be able to deny this. This third town center is going to come up. It sort of defends this gold mine as well. What you should do is come in and chop this tree down, chop this tree down, chop this tree down. You get an opening into this gold mine so villagers can easily return to the town center if it gets raided, for example. So we'll see. There's the armory coming up for Mr. Boat as he's ready to start thinking about going to the heroic age, but he's throwing up a barracks as well. A little bit curious as to the multiple different things. Obviously, the armory is technically free, but you are losing out on quite a few resources by getting it up. It's 90 seconds, so it's about 90 resources-ish on the wood line, probably a little bit less. So you could kind of consider this armory with 1 villager putting it up as, I guess, about 60 wood. So it's still cheaper for the old Egyptian, but it's not as free as you think it is. Anyways, Walrus here for Mr. Boat. He's got a lot of hunt to play around with. It's just, can he defend this location, get the rest of these elk, eat the food over here? He's going onto this wood line here. I'd love to see him open this up, but he's not going for it just yet. We see the raid coming in. Pharaoh here as well. No real red units to defend. This is going to do a little bit of damage, it looks like. The priest, the Valkyrie raiding cavalry going straight after the Pharaoh is going to be making a break for it. The villagers trying to chase them away with their shanks. See some spearmen coming over here with the Wadget, holding onto the forest fire. I like that from Rapl. Going to be looking for some way to use the forest fire in the future here. We see this more spearmen coming out for Mr. Boat. Second town center coming forward for Rapl, and we've got so many elk being converted by Mr. Boat. I absolutely love this from him because he's got complete map control-ish as Rappel's gone for this town center. So he's completely abusing the fact that he's got this set ability, taking away all of this potential hunt from Rapl. I would have maybe preferred him to try and take the walrus here, because while the elk take less time, the walrus are going to be a lot more value to bring back, but we'll see what he's going to do. We see all the spearmen in the middle. Rappel sitting on these herdables in his base. He's got 11 goat plus the 4 on the ground. Sheesh. This is something small, but the small things matter. I always notice this when I watch Age of Empires 2. The pro players, not even just the pro players, even the low level players, like the 1400s, 1300s, they kill 1 goat at a time when they're eating their goat. We've got to start doing that at this level of Age of Mythology for sure. We've got to start doing that because that's going to get you so much more food in the long run. We see the engagement coming over here, hitting those axemen, throwing axemen with the Wadget. Nice play from Mr. Boat there, but Rapl, he's actually not that far behind. He's kind of been behind 8 villages this entire time, but he's starting to float resources. He's starting to think about going to the next stage. We see the walrus, the elk making their way over onto this town center for Mr. Boat to get up to the next stage. Mr. Boat's eating all of these herdables as well. Maybe going to be thinking about getting his pickaxe out fairly soon. We'll see if that's something he wants to do. Meanwhile, just Rapl eating his goats here has this netted him so much food. He's going to be able to advance to the next age. Mr. Boat's put a lot of resources into the spearmen here, and they're not going to be that useful because one thing that Rapl can now do that is going into the heroic age is you can just put a ton of villagers over to the snowy pines. And that's going to be allowing him to get a ton of wood-based units. Throwing axemen, Huskell. That's the kind of aim when you're in these kind of situations. So Mr. Boat needs to think about this, needs to start making axemen, needs to go for the axemen. Because he's got food control, he has to ask himself, what are the army comps that Rapl can make? And that's technically the only one. The other thing that Mr. Boat needs to think about doing very, very shortly, or basically when he gets into the second age, is thinking about getting funeral rites, because Rapl's going to have a ton of frost giants coming his way. So he doesn't need to get it immediately, but does need to think about getting it at some point. Now, we can see this hill fort coming up. We can see Rapl's got a lot of resources in the back, nearly 600 gold, 250 plus wood, so plenty of resources for that hill fort. And there's the Skadi coming through for Rapl. Mr. Boat almost through Nephthys. Very short on the gold. He hasn't quite gotten pickaxe yet, just eating up all of this converted hunt. Now taking the middle hunt as well away from Rapl. And Rapple's going to be running out of these goat fairly. There's so many goat here for Rapl. That's absolutely crazy. Now the hill fort's coming up. Rapl producing the ox cart. Hill fort is up. And where? What are we seeing from Mr. Boat? Because Mr. Boat is technically on a timer here. Because this is frozen waste, I love that he's like mining from this gold mine early and not mining out his home gold mine. He should probably leave that 1,000 gold there for later. The problem against Odin on this map is Ragnarok is super, super difficult to defend against. Because you have gold mines all on the outside of the map, it's really hard to get the walls in. We see a hill fort in the middle of the map. Nice retreat micro from Mr. Boat here. So he's going to be returning to his base. We see the hill fort, the Migdol up, and I love, love, love this from Mr. Boat. Funeral rites coming out immediately. That's absolutely huge. And Rapl is on the way. He needs to maybe think about, oh God, is Mr. Boat going for Mythic Age here? He looks like he is, so he can sell a ton of that wood and get himself to the Mythic Age through Horus. Go for a Horus timing attack onto Rapl, but he is majority Spearman, and like there are Jarls being made, so maybe the Spearmen are going to be fine. But he does need to think about getting some more units out. But here we go. We'll see what he's going to do. He's just got the market up. He's got the food. Needs a little bit more gold to advance. He can sell for that if he wants to. Mr. Boat nearly at full population. We see Rapl coming in onto this side. Rapple's not going to want to cast the Frost God power because there's Ancestors to defend it. We see the units moving in. There's Ancestors super early. I mean, obviously he's trying to bait the Frost, but this is definitely not a good use from Mr. Boat. He's going to try and move in here. We see the Jarls turning around. These Ancestors do next to nothing against the Jarls. We're going to see Mr. Boat coming in with the rest of his army over here. And then the Frost will come down. Now all of these units are here, surely. There's the Frost. And there's the Forest Fire and the Frost. So he's going to be doing a ton of damage to these Spearmen. Look, they do about 2 damage to each of these. So he's going to be able to take down a bunch of these units of Mr. Boat. Super value Forest Fire here. Actually, I think it's done... The Forest Fire actually hit its max damage there. He actually hit his max damage. So, can't get any more damage out of the Forest Fire, but that was, with the 99% armor, was enough to help defend that one there. But now Mr. Boat's army is completely trapped. We've got the population going to be falling for Mr. Boat very quickly when they pop back out. Lots of low HP units here. The priests in this army as well, it looks like, which are very vitally important to be taking down those Frost Giants and the Valkyries. He is going after them. Now we've got heavy Spearmen coming through. Horus just about to hit for Mr. Boat here. So he's going to have access to all of those animals of Set. We'll see if he's going to utilize them. They're very, very important in the early Heroic Age, or early Mythic Age, I should say, for Set. We see the immediate tornado onto this town center. Going to be taking this one out. The tornado should hang around the town center for the time being. Take it down. We don't see any villagers really falling. Nice micro from Rapl to do that. Rapl sitting with a decent amount of resources in the bank. We see this town center over here getting denied as the villagers coming over here to take down the heavy Huskar. These units for Rapl retreating away as the Avenger coming in, but that's not good. He's swapping special abilities there, and it's looking as if the Hearse are going to come in and snipe down that Avenger. You cannot lose this Avenger that easily. When you advance to the heroic age, 250 food, 25 favor worth of dead villagers over here. If you just sent them straight to that gold mine, would have been huge. But now we've got these units over here. These hippos have set everything else. We see a siege works coming up. Maybe Mrboat's going after this town center. He is going for this town center, hitting this gold mine as well. All over the map here, Mrboat is going to be trying to put some pressure onto Rapl. We have to see what Rapple's going to do. He's coming back in, going to be chucking this town center up. We see the villagers returning to the goats that were all killed by that tornado. And the Ox Guard going to be enough to help out. And then the town center will get up. And honestly, Rapple's completely fine here. He's trying to sneak this town center for himself. We see these rhinoceros trying to take the hill forts down, but you can see they actually do negative 50% damage against the buildings. So very, very small damage against buildings with these animals of set. We see copper shields coming through for Rapl. No upgrades coming through for Mrboat. In fact, it's looking like his economy struggling just a little bit here. He's trying to pump these buildings out, make more units. We see the Jarls coming back in. The Frost Giant coming back in. There is a lone priest. Going to take a long time to kill this Frost Giant with that priest. Does about 10 damage a shot, even with funeral rites. It's like, or maybe it's 20 damage a shot, but still takes a long time to take down 600 HP, but he will be doing it. Retreating away from this location. It's looking like Rapple's able to push through. Migdol Stronghold coming up now for Mrboat. Will this Pharaoh go after the Frost Giant or not is the question. Doesn't need to. It looks like the priest has got this sorted as the Frost Giant falls. More throwing axemen coming into the fray, and Mrboat sitting at 110 population to Rapple's 132 population. This Migdol Stronghold trying to get up, but the axemen fall. The Pharaoh about to go down as well, and this is looking incredibly grim for Mrboat. In fact, Rapl could probably go tier here and take this win. He's going to be 4 town, well, he's not going to be 4 town centers, he's going to be 3 town centers very, very shortly. Mrboat has no economy here. His farms are set up, but look at these upgrades. He's only got plow. Irrigation is such a huge upgrade. Shaft mine, such a huge upgrade. You do have to make sure at the very least you get those 2 upgrades when you're playing Egyptian. You can stop at hand axe. You can stop at sharp line. You don't have to get flood control. Obviously, they're all going to help out. But if you don't get those shaft mine irrigation technologies, you're really shooting yourself in the foot. And now Balder is on the way for Rapl. He's noticing the situation here. Axemen don't have their upgrades. And we will see how this is going to go. We've got these catapult trying to take down more of these buildings, but I don't think Mrboat's going to be able to push fast enough to take down the hometown center, getting Balder up, and therefore he needs to start thinking about how he will defend his gold mines. No trade route started, so it's going to be tough for him. And Rapl is in a very, very good position. We see this army coming back and going to be trying to snipe the catapults, doing a great job with the Frost Giant. Snipes one of those. The priest trying to take down the Frost Giant. We see some portable rams coming through. Maybe going to be looking for Dwarven Augur, as well as getting out some of those fire giants to keep pushing. The Chariot Archer army is out though, so we may be able to see him sit in a bit of a choke point, but there's so many Huskar here. We don't see Mrboat getting more barracks. He is getting some, but I don't think we've seen him get medium axemen or anything else. The hill fort in the middle of the map does go down, and now Rapl is retreating back yet again. Just going to be waiting. We see the portable rams maybe going to swing around this side to try and push through this town center with the help of some rag heroes when he casts the Ragnarok. How are the armory upgrades for Rapl going? He's got nearly full copper, and Mrboat on the other hand only copper weapons, not getting any more armor, any more technological upgrades at all. There's the Balder popping, and Rapple's ready We don't see any building upgrades, it looks like. No masons, no architects, no crenellations. Not that crenellations is going to help that much, but it will be an added benefit. We don't see Rapl immediately clicking Ragnarok yet either. We've got engineers coming through for Rapl. The trade route has been started. He's got a decent trade route here with 4 ox caravans. So this is not all that all in. Rapl just needs to click Rag here and go for it, because I don't think Mrboat can defend, but he's taken out so many of these chariot archers. And maybe this is a small misplay because he can replace them with axemen, but it's got to be very good for him regardless to just take them down when he can. Now the Ragnarok comes in, 295 population Ragnarok. The portable rams coming through, engineers almost getting popped here, but he's sending these to the wrong place, going after these siege works. Look at the damage that these guys do with engineers. It's such a big upgrade. Bonus damage versus walls, bonus damage on the pierce and crush damage. 50% extra damage on the melee crush. Such a big upgrade for the portable rams and any sort of like a ram unit, the siege tower, and I guess that's it, isn't it? Anyways, pushing in, going to be taking down the fortified town center. The mercenary starting to get queued up for Mrboat, but maybe too little too late. Mercenary infantry as well, not exactly the ones you want to be making. We got medium axemen in. Heavy axemen has not come through just yet. So many portable rams to push through this location, and we've got Rag Heroes hitting the top gold mine of Mrboat. That's going to be a gold star, as Mrboat's got 843 gold, just under 800 gold left in the bank here. We see the Heroes of Ragnarok taking down more of those Egyptian units, as Rapl seems to be pushing through what Mrboat is doing here. We see these rams taking down the Migdol stronghold. They'll be able to take this down as well very shortly. But there's there's one more Migdol stronghold here, but there's no point in making those. We're seeing Mrboat struggle for food here as well to make anything. We see him trying to throw up some watchtowers in his base, but there's just so many units here for Rapl. He's almost dropped to 100 population here, but still has 8 portable rams. Didn't invest in Dwarven Augur, which makes me incredibly upset, because that helps these rams out a ton as well. If we check that technology out just while he's killing everything, I don't see a hill for it. There's one. If he gets Dwarven Augur, you get an extra 20% crush damage plus the 20% move speed. So very big help there as well, but obviously doesn't want to get it. Too busy just winning the game, and that's kind of it. And now we see Rapl finishing this all off. The town center about to fall. Villagers trying to take down these portable rams. And the town center will go down, as Rapl still with 190 pop to Mrboat's 86. Meanwhile, we still see that Mrboat is grabbing this gold mine. A little bit of a misplay from Rapl, but it's not going to matter in the end of this game, as Rapl is too far in front with this army here for Mrboat. He's going to take down these chariot archers, revisit this gold mine with all of those Heroes of Ragnarok. And this is going to be very impossible or very difficult for Mrboat to defend with merely 5 axemen or 7 axemen and 4 chariot archers here, as the portable rams still alive. The frost giants pushing in. The villagers getting pulled off the gold mine, going to be returning back into this location. 32 villagers remaining for Mrboat, taking down these buildings, taking down all these units. The fire giants need to be focusing down the axemen. It doesn't matter all too much, but he's going after these barracks here. Going to be able to continue pushing through. The priest's going to get targeted down, which are doing a lot of damage to the giants here, but the giants still has the most important one in this stage of the game with the fire giant here, and he's still going. Rapl just going to be down on the population, but you can see he can start making fire giant now because he had those 4 ox caravans with the fire giant follow-up. The villagers popping out. The Heroes of Ragnarok should try and focus these villagers down, as the portable rams able to push through here. The fire giant may be able to take these villagers down as well if he wants to target them. And there's the Migdol Stronghold going down. There's everything else going down. The portable ram's going to take down the third town center of Mrboat. These villagers trying as best as they can to take the portable rams down, doing an admirable job. Now there's only 5 left, but they still do a ton of damage with that engineer's upgrade. The Pharaoh doing tons of damage over here as well. Need to take that one down, and he is going after it. The town center just about to fall, and Mrboat has to be thinking, how does he continue here with 7 villagers left? GG. Well played by Rapl. Mrboat not able to finish the game off with that Horus timing. A little bit of a, well, I'd say a little bit, but the major misplay here from Mrboat in his strategy was that Ancestors was used before the Frost. There doesn't seem to me to be a time when you're doing these timing pushes that it is worth to use your Ancestors before you get frosted. The whole idea of the tornado is that you can then attack this location, or attack this location, or attack this location over here, hit the gold, and then force a frost, and then have Ancestors to then hit a follow-up timing push to keep Rapl away from hitting his Ragnarok. I mean, the other way you can play this, I guess, is if you can set up a lot of towers behind this and be ready for the Rag with Champion Axeman or something, good economy. But Mrboat went for timings here, did not hit them strong enough, and Rapl did not take enough damage early game from even that beautiful early game Shifting Sands play, was just not enough, and that was the game. If you guys enjoyed this game, please consider hitting the follow button on the Twitch. If you're on the YouTube, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys next time.